Everybody says that processed food is bad for you. But what exactly does that mean? And how can you tell how processed the food is? Is all processing bad? Those are the kind of questions that I will answer for you in this video. So first, what is processed food? A food is more highly processed, the more it's different from its natural form. So, coming to natural foods, I think you know these examples: raw eggs, raw milk, fresh fruit and veggies, or nuts and seeds that are not heated and just straight from the tree, essentially. So, then how do you move away from that? What are the forms of processing that exist? You can mechanically alter the food by grinding or cutting it. You can ferment the food with the help of bacteria or yeast. You can simply heat the food. Or you can conserve the food with the use of drying, very strong heating. You can also conserve it with some substances like salt, acid, or oil. And then you can also artificially prepare or formulate a food. You can use technical processes to isolate nutrients or parts of the food, or you can add chemical substances or use them to remove something. So to answer the question, the more processing steps the food has gone through, the more processed the food is. So that's processed food. Some highly processed or ultra processed food examples that you certainly know are potato chips, sugar, white bread, rapeseed oil. All stuff you've eaten plenty of. The rule of thumb that I want to teach you today is very simple. Avoid highly processed foods. Eat instead as many natural and low processed foods as possible. Yet again, it's a very simple rule. But why is it a rule of thumb and not an absolute rule? Because not all processing is bad. In fact, some processing is good or even necessary. For example, lentils and beans are inedible while uncooked. Don't eat them raw, please. Still, lentils are a great and healthy food once you cook them. The second example is meat that isn't produced under very high hygiene standards. Like, I would never recommend you to eat a raw chicken breast you just bought at a grocery store. You're very likely to get food poisoning. The third example is the fermenting step in making sourdough bread. The fermentation greatly reduces the phytic acid content of the grains. If you don't know, phytic acid is a so-called anti-nutrient. It makes it harder for your guts to absorb important micronutrients like zinc. So, especially the first few types of processing that I listed earlier are very useful and productive in making food safe, micronutrient available and digestible. Cutting, fermenting, and heating, just to name a few. The latter steps that I mentioned, it doesn't apply so much to them. Those are more so about making the food storable, palatable, cheap to produce, or outright addictive. At the same time, they tend to destroy many of the important parts of the food. They destroy the molecule structure of proteins, vitamins, phytochemicals, and often they leach out minerals. Or they straight up remove the most nutritionally relevant parts. One great example is white flour or white bread that is made of white flour. Both the outer shell of the grain as well as the little part inside called germ are removed. And the germ is rich in vitamin E and B as well as minerals, enzymes and antioxidants. Things are similar with the outer shell that also contains important micronutrients as well as fiber for your gut. The only part that's left is the big center of the grain, and it contains mostly carbohydrate, empty ones. It will give you calories for some quick energy, but barely any important micronutrients that should come along with it. Those are what is important for your body to keep up the multitude of cellular functions it has, to protect you from infections, to productively use the carbohydrates that you consume, and to repair its cells. In short, to be healthy. And that's what's important. So avoid highly processed foods and give your body what it really needs. In future videos, I will get into details about some common processed foods that you're likely eating frequently, like daily or weekly. And I will explain in greater detail how they're made and what is wrong with them. So if you want to see those, make sure you subscribe and turn on the little ding-a-ling. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.